Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Nurturing Corner with Shumee. And in this episode, we'll also understand that what does it mean when our child says no. It's very important for us to say no to our child in different situations. How do we do it in a way that it is not too much or too less? How do we do that for ourselves and the child?
Yeah, there's so much discussion about saying no.
Yeah.
I really feel that it's okay to say no to
Okay.
the child. Because so many times that the child has grown up not even hearing no, and
Yeah.
suddenly they start hear no, and the world crumbles. It's okay to say no, but because what is no?
Hmm.
No is us setting limits for the
Hmm.
child, and these limits are very important.
Yeah.
But how do we say no is important. After you say no, follow it with another option you're giving to the child, another
Okay.
viable option. Because if you're saying no to this, what else is the child now? Child doesn't understand what else to do.
Yeah.
So follow it with an option.
And then maybe also explain why you're saying no. Is that also an important part for the
Yes,
child?
absolutely. Because the child, even though from when they are babies, explain it, because firstly you're respecting them, and once they start understanding language, they will start to understand why you're saying no, and
Okay.
that their safety is what is in your mind.
Okay. So then you mentioned like being a baby. So even would a baby understand no and the logic behind no? So does that happen?
They won't understand the logic
Yeah.
behind no, because they don't understand
Yeah.
the language
Language,
yet.
yeah.
But unless we talk,
Yeah.
the baby is not going to develop language. So it is a practice that we have. And when we say no or explain things to a baby, they do understand the respect that comes along with it.
Okay. And then also often it's most of the time the mom is saying no, right? So is that then something that we should feel guilty about, or because we are the primary caregivers, we will be saying no most of the times?
Yeah, we do. I mean, many mothers feel that, because
Yeah.
then they feel like the father's doing the fun part and you're doing
Yeah.
this. But no, absolutely not. The child requires this parent, and it's much more important than the fun loving parent, honestly.
Okay.
This is the requirement of a child, and the child feels more comfortable with this person who's taking a little control and setting those boundaries, because boundaries make the child feel safe.
Okay.
And you are the person doing that.
But I think that, I mean, again, being a mother myself and having two teenage boys, I can see that when you are saying now at this age, like maybe as kids grow, there should be a balance between both the parents saying no, right? Because earlier in the when the child is a baby, a toddler, you are the primary caregiver at that point of time. But eventually, it should become a balanced role. What do you think about
Yeah,
it?
I think so. And I feel like both the parents should be on the same page. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be this parent versus
Saying
that
yeah,
parent.
yeah,
So if you're saying no, the other parent should also stick to that no.
yeah.
It's important for the child to see both parents as one entity,
Okay.
at least when they're children. Later, they can see this one saying no, this one saying yes,
Yes.
and them having a conversation about why they're doing this, because then they understand how to resolve conflicts. But as children, if this one's saying no, that one should say no,
No.
even if they don't agree. It's important to be one entity. So that way, you are saying the equal number of no.
Okay. But also, like when you have family members around, you may be saying no, but they also know that my grandparent is not going to say no to this, right? So they also, kids are very, I mean, they clue in very quickly to this. How do you make your family members understand that why you're saying no? That is also very important.
Honestly, it's impossible to make all the family members understand why you're saying no. So you have your rules in your house.
Yeah.
And those are the child's limits that you are going to follow very strictly. It's okay when other family members come and they break the rules.
Yeah.
That's okay, let it be.
Okay.
Because if you argue too much with the grandparents or
Yeah.
anyone, then the child loses respect for them.
Okay.
You don't want that to happen
Yeah.
also. So the child understands that, okay, this is my time off. When grandparents come, I can do this. But when they leave, this is the rule of the house and I have to follow it. Child is very, very good at understanding the rules of the house and following.
Okay.
Once the child is set in these rules,
Yeah.
After a certain age, like 4 or 5, the child knows and will tell the grandparents, I'm not allowed to eat ice cream today,
Okay.
or I'm not allowed to watch TV after half an hour. They know how to follow it because they do like these boundaries. Also,
there is a stage when the child also starts saying no to a lot of things. So, is the child saying no? I mean, again, is it a form of tantrum for them? Is it something they're being stubborn about? I mean, But how do we as parents also navigate that situation with them?
So this stage comes from around 18 months. Around
Okay.
18 months it starts and goes up almost till 3 years of
Mhm.
age. That's the time when the child has, it's called the self-affirmation crisis. I'll explain what it is. This is the time when the child realizes that he or she is a different entity from you
Okay.
and now can control things by saying no,
No.
by making choices. That's when they say no. Many times you'll see children saying no, but they don't even mean no.
Okay.
They just know that they have that control of
Yeah.
saying no.
Okay.
So it'll last until around 3 years of age and automatically it'll drop off.
Okay. So how do we navigate that, the phase of no for the child?
One important thing you should do is to give choices to the child. And what kind of choices do you, because the child needs to feel that he or she is in control of his life. So if you want the child to go to the go to brush their teeth
Yeah.
at night, do you want me to carry you or do you want to walk with me? You know, the end result is the same, but you're giving different choices, so the child feels empowered making these choices. So in everything, allow the child to make a choice. And secondly, to allow the child to be independent in whatever he or she can do. Can drink water instead of giving the, you filling the glass of water, have water at a level that the child can fill a glass that he or she can take, to make the environment more independent for the child. These are the two things the child is really looking for at this phase.
So I hope all of you also learned a lot from this session. And do write into us, send us any queries. We would be happy to answer them.